My name's Eric. As always, I want to thank you for coming by and checking out my video today. On this episode of Smoking, I'm going to show you how to combine two cooking methods, sous vide and smoking, to make the perfect rack of ribs. Now, those of you familiar with my channel know my main passion is smoking and barbecuing, but probably around, it's probably been 6-7 years ago, I discovered sous vide cooking, kind of way before it kind of became as popular as it is now. And the great thing about sous vide cooking is you can cook whatever you're cooking to that perfect temperature and tenderness depending on the temperature of the cook and the time. And this is great if you're cooking something expensive like a steak or prime rib, or in this case, even a pack of ribs where you don't want to overcook them and have them dry out. You still want them to maintain some juiciness. The disadvantage of sous vide cooking is you're not going to have that wonderful smoky flavor you get as if you would have smoked them from start to finish on your smoker. So in my experiencing, combining these two methods kind of give you the best of both worlds. You're going to be able to cook it to that perfect doneness and tenderness that you're looking for, and by smoking it as well, you're going to be able to give it a little bit of smoky flavor and get a little bit of a nice kind of crust or bark on those ribs or whatever it is you're cooking at the end. So for that reason, I prefer smoking at the end. I've smoked them before. I've also done a smoke before and then after. But in this video, I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is to do a rack of ribs by combining the two methods, okay? And this really couldn't be any easier. You need a rack of ribs. I got some baby back ribs here, but of course you can use spare ribs, St. Louis, whatever. And you need a rub. I'm going to be using this Kansas City Cowtown, the Squeal Hog Rub. And yeah, I'm just going to season this up. We're going to vacuum seal it. I'm going to sous vide cook this overnight. It's going to be anywhere from around 14 to 16 hours. That's another great thing about sous vide cooking, is that you can kind of let your schedule just kind of continue to move forward without the cook getting in your way. Because if it goes an extra hour or two, no harm, no foul. It's going to hold that temperature just perfect. And then tomorrow, I'm going to take it out of the sous vide bath. We're going to cool those ribs down. And then I'm going to just put it on my smoker and slowly bring up to temperature, hopefully get some smoky flavor on it and get a nice bark as well. So super easy and super delicious. So stick around, guys. I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. Let's get cooking. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get the ribs ready. Now it's super easy. You could just season them and vacuum seal them in the bag if you'd like. But what I like to do is remove that membrane on the back, okay? And on the back of the rib, you have this membrane. I think it's kind of gross. So you've probably seen me do this, or other people do this like 1,000 times before. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a knife or something like that. I'm going to spin this around, so I think it's going to be a little bit easier for me. You're going to go to the one side, and you can see this. It's kind of like a clear film, like a little, I don't know. It's just nasty. Now, some people leave it on there. Some people argue that, you know, when you're cooking this, it's going to break down, and it helps to hold the ribs together. You know, and I have had ribs with this membrane on. I just like to take it off because I think it helps the seasoning kind of get into the meat as well. So you're just going to take that membrane once you got a good hand grip on it, and then we're just going to pull it like this, see? And the whole thing comes off, if you're lucky, in one big pull. Let me get a tray and we're going to season it. I mean, how easy is this? Be back in a second, guys. Alright, so before you season the ribs, put them in some kind of tray. You don't want to get rub all over your kitchen counter. As I mentioned before, Kansas City Cowtown, the Squeal Hog Rub. I like this. I've used it quite a few times. I did 4 smoked pulled pork butts a couple videos ago. I'll leave a link below. The reason I like this is because you can get it in such a big shaker can here. This is over a pound, almost 2 pounds of seasoning, 28.8 ounces. So that's why I like it. So you know how this works. It isn't very complicated. We're just going to season these ribs with this rub, both front and back, and then I'm going to vacuum seal them. Now, These have to go 16 to 18 hours, so I'm going to season these, vacuum seal them, and then kind of just put them in the refrigerator until I'm ready to throw them in the sous vide bath before I go to bed, because I want to cook these tomorrow for dinner, okay? And I'm not going crazy on the rub because it is going to be sitting in this rub in a vacuum seal bag overnight, and you know, I don't want it to get too salty. So we're just going to do we obviously want enough to kind of give it that nice mahogany color that we like. I think that should just about do it. Just like so. All right. So there we go, guys. I'm going to get my vacuum sealer out, and I'm going to vacuum seal this in the bag. I'll be back in a second, show you how it looks like when we're all done. All right, here we are, vacuum sealed. Couldn't get any easier than this. It's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This needs to cook overnight, anywhere between 14 and 18 hours. So I'm going to put it in, you know, before I go to bed, and it'll be ready tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll smoke it for dinner time. So great advantage of using this technique. Say you had to cook 10 rack of ribs. You're having a bunch of people coming over, a party of some sort. Cooking 10 racks of ribs on your smoker, I mean, unless you have a gigantic smoker, you're probably going to be able to only cook anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe 5 at a time. Typically, a rack of ribs smoking, it's going to take 3 to 4 hours. You're talking like 8 to 10 hours of cooking time. This way, we're going to sous vide these things overnight. You can let them sit in the fridge once they're sous vide cooked for up to several days, and then, you know, do all the sous vide cooking the day before or a couple days before your party. Take them out and just throw them on the smoker. The best part is you're not worried about constantly, you know, checking temperatures. Is the heat too high? Our only concern, since they're already perfectly cooked, is just to get that bark on there. You know, obviously you don't want to exceed your original sous vide cooking temperature, and there's a wide range of temperatures for that as well. But I'm getting long-winded. I'm going to throw these in the fridge, and I'll meet up with you guys later on tonight when I throw them in the sous vide bath. See you then. All right, welcome back. I've put in my Powerhouse sous vide machine, my VacMaster SV10. This thing is a monster. There we go. It just reached 155 degrees. Now you can do this anywhere between 14 and 18 hours. I just picked 16, but again, if 16 hours come and I'm busy doing something, you can let it go an hour or two more. It's not going to change anything. I've never done it this way. I got my container sideways because I'm going to put the whole rack of ribs in. Now if you have a smaller container, you might have to cut the racks in half just to accommodate the container you're using. But I think this is fine. Push that down. Yeah, see? I'm glad I turned it this way because now it's completely submerged and under the water line. That's the main thing with sous vide cooking. You want to make sure it's under the water line. Now normally I don't cover things like this because usually it's 4 to 5, 6 hours, but since this is an overnight cook, you want to cover this because at this temperature, 155 degrees, water's going to be evaporating pretty rapidly, and you don't want the machine, you know, this machine's got a safety. Once it drops below a unsafe point, it'll shut itself off, but then the food is spoiled because it's no longer being cooked. So I have these sous vide balls. Now if you don't have these, you can put foil, saran wrap, whatever you can put on top of here to just kind of keep everything under some kind of cover. But I love these sous vide balls because they can be used in any size container. Just spread them out a little bit. And you can see they just like cover all that water and help prevent the water from evaporating. Okay? So there we go. I set the timer for 16 hours. It's already been 1 minute, 15 hours and 59 minutes. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night. I'm going to go to bed, and then tomorrow we'll check on it. You know, if I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you know, 2, 3 a.m., I'll come just check the water line. You can always add some hot tap water out of the sink if it dropped a little bit, because you just want to make sure everything is under the water line and maintaining temperature. So that's it, guys. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening, and I'll check up with you guys tomorrow morning. See you then. All right guys, 155 degrees, like I said, 16 to 18 hours. What I did here is I clipped each side of the vacuum seal bag kind of here, so everything's under the water line. That way circulation of the water is going to go underneath and all the way around the ribs. This is what you want. So there you go. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night, and yeah, I'll check in with you guys tomorrow morning. See you then. Welcome back. It's the next day. As you can see, we got 3 minutes left on our 16-hour cook. Right before I went to bed, I kind of checked on it, and the bag was kind of floating towards the top, which is typical when you sous vide stuff for an extended period of time because air forms inside the bag. So I just took a heavy-duty spatula here, and I just kind of used it to weigh it down. You have to make sure that everything remains underneath the water line. Now it's not floating anymore. Anyway, let's get this out of the sous vide bath. Be back in a second. All right, 1 minute left on the 16-hour cook. You can let this go all the way up to 18 hours, like I told you guys, okay? All right, it looks like it just beeped there to stop. So we're gonna pull this out. Now it is only 12:30 in the afternoon. Monica's out doing errands, my son Kyle's at work, and we're gonna have this for dinner. So another great thing about doing it this way, like I mentioned, is this is perfectly cooked now. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna cool this off. I'm gonna put it in some water with some ice and just let it sit there for 15-20 minutes. It's extremely hot right now. And then I'll put it in the fridge. This actually serves two purposes. The main reason is you can just cool it down for a later use, which makes it super convenient. In this case, I don't want to necessarily cook it now because then it won't be hot when we're ready to eat at dinner time. But the second thing is when you have it at a cooler core temperature, like cool down, 35 degrees, like because it's sitting in your fridge, that's going to allow it to stay on your smoker a little bit longer. And we're going to try to smoke it as a low a temperature as possible. This will give it a better opportunity to absorb some of that smoke and ultimately form a nice bark on the outside of the ribs. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get these sous vide balls out of here. I'm going to take the sous vide machine, get this hot water out of here, and then I'm going to put some cold water in there with some ice and let it shock chill for around a half hour before I put it in the fridge. You don't want to just put it in the fridge like this because it's super hot. It's going to warm up everything inside your fridge. So another helpful hint. So I won't bore you with the details of putting it in ice water. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Same container. And we'll be back a little later when I'm pulling it out of the fridge and I'm ready to put it on the smoker. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, the time has come to heat up the smoker. Now, you want to put this on the lowest setting possible. 225 is what you want to do to heat it up. My smoker here, my Monument Grills pellet smoker, actually has a smoke setting which is typically around 165 to 175, and being the smoke setting, it's designed to produce a lot of smoke. So I'm going to start on the smoke setting at least for an hour because I want to get these ribs to absorb some smoke, and then depending on the temperature I might crank it up to 225 during the last part of the cook just to heat them up. And then I'm going to be applying some BBQ sauce to kind of glaze the ribs over. But that's what's so great about this method. All we're doing now is reheating the ribs. So I already plugged this in. I started, you can see it's at 146, 147 and climbing. I can already smell some smoke. And yeah, we'll let this thing heat up nice. Let's go inside and grab those ribs. All right, here are the ribs. If you can remember, when I pulled these out of the sous vide bath, there was a huge amount of liquid. That liquid, I mean, there's still a little bit of liquid in there, but it seems to have almost turned into like a gelatin, attached itself to the ribs. So let's cut this thing open and get these ribs out. Now, you want to be careful because these ribs are fully cooked, which means they are very tender. So don't think that you can just manhandle them like a normal pair of ribs, in the vac seal bag. You gotta be you gotta take a little extra time, be a little careful. All right, let's see if I can pull them out just with that little cut there. Peel this back. All right, let's see if I can just grab them with these tongs here. It definitely makes them a little bit easier to handle because they are cold. All right. Okay, and just to show you here, it's getting on my fingers and everything else. You see that kind of gelatin in there, okay? We don't need any of that. Just gonna throw that in the sink for now. Kind of rinse off the gelatin pieces that I have on my fingers. Now normally, this would be the time where you would start to take some paper towels and blot whatever you pulled out of that sous vide bag nice and dry, because typically what you're doing at this point is doing a sear. And in order to get a good sear, you have to have a dry surface. This is the one exception, because we're not searing these ribs. We're gonna put them in the smoker. So, I'm not gonna do a thing. They're wet, they're cold, this is what I want. Because the colder and wetter they are means they're more ready to absorb some smoke from my smoker. Okay, so I'm gonna bring a couple things out with me. First of all, I'm gonna bring my instant read thermometer just to make sure I don't overcook these. You know, if we go up to around 160, that's fine too. 155, 160, just to heat them up. And then you're gonna bring some barbecue sauce during the last portion of the cook. I have some G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce, a hickory flavor. Monica and I really enjoyed this sauce when we were on keto. It's only 2 grams per serving. But I remember even at keto when we tried it, we said, you know what, we might just use this as a regular sauce because it is so flavorful. And we're kind of picky with barbecue sauce. And then a little brush. And I'll throw the tongs in here as well. So I'll pick this all up. Let's go outside, throw this rack of ribs on the smoker. Meet you guys outside. All right. The smoker's been on the smoke setting for around 15 minutes. It's right at 164, probably because it's a little cooler out here than normal. And I apologize for the lighting. We just had the time change last week. So it's almost pitch black at around 5 o'clock, and we're at 4 o'clock. So I brought a little light out here. You see this nice smoke rolling? This is what we want. Let me grab those ribs. All right, the ribs are on. I had to go wipe my hands because I don't know if you can see, there's some gelatin just stuck to this, which is fine. It's gonna help keep it moist. And that's what we want here. So let's see how long we can keep these on. Hopefully at least a couple hours. And I'm thinking if at least an hour on the smoke, and then maybe, or an hour and a half, we'll periodically take some temperature readings. You know, if we can squeeze 2.5, 3 hours on the smoker, bring that temperature up slowly, let it absorb some smoke, we'll be in better shape. They're more likely to taste smoky when we're done. You can already see the smoke rolling. So that's it, guys. Foolproof ribs, man. All you need is to combine sous vide and smoking. All right, we'll let this do its thing, and we'll come back and check on them in a little bit. All right, guys, time for a beverage review. I'm having something from Surly Brewing Company. They're out of Twin Cities, Minnesota, so not too far. This is called Mosh Pit Juicy Pale Ale, 5.5% alcohol. All right. So those ribs have been on maybe around 40 minutes, so when I'm done with this beer, we'll go outside and take a look. Looking forward to some nice ribs tonight for sure. Alright. Normally I have my kids here, but Kyle's talking to his friends, and so is Ava Grace. Everyone's home now, but they're doing their own thing, so I'm like, you know what? I'll just have a beer by myself with you guys, alright? Again, guys, I appreciate you stopping by and watching my video. I really do. Cheers. Thanks again. Alright, I can already smell some fruit and a little bit of hops. So this has definitely got some hoppy presence. You know, being an IPA, you know, or is it, no, pale ale. I assumed it was an IPA. All right, cheers. All right, I do taste hops, but not quite as strong as if you were having an IPA, and a lot of fruit presence. Kind of a little bit of orange and tangerine. Maybe a little bit of lemon too. A little bit of bitterness at the end. But I think the sweetness will mellow things out here as I continue to drink this. Yeah, that's good. I think I've had a couple beers from this Surly Brewing Company. I believe they're in Indianapolis. Or not Indianapolis, Minneapolis. So maybe next time I'm there, I'll go check out the brewing company. Maybe they do, maybe they have a tour and stuff. All right, 5.5% alcohol. It tastes good, definitely more flavorful than some of the beers I usually get to drink here in Wisconsin. All right, guys, I'm going to enjoy this for around 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. When we get to around an hour mark, we'll go outside. We'll see how those ribs are doing. Maybe we'll turn it up to 200, 225. I just wanted to get some smoke on them, you know. All right, I'll meet you guys outside in a few minutes. Cheers. All right, we are at the 1 hour mark. It's just turned 5 o'clock. Street lights just came on. Welcome to the time change, all right? Smoker's holding at 167, so let's take a look here. I'm glad to see some smoke, because that's what I want. Oh boy. Look at that, guys. All right. Let's just do a quick temperature. I know someone's going to want to know. First off, yeah, they're still kind of, I wouldn't say cold, but they're certainly not hot. So let's just go in. 88 degrees. Gotta make sure not to hit the bone. Okay, the ones, you know, obviously towards the edge, it's gonna be a little warmer. 91 degrees. Over here, it's probably gonna be a little cooler. 85. So, you know what? I'm gonna continue to keep it on the smoke setting because it is gradually heating up these ribs. If I can get another hour on them, we'll see. I'll come out in 45 minutes, check them out. Remember, we sous vide cook these at 155 degrees, so we don't really want to go too much past that. I mean, if you go to 160, that's fine. So I want to try to apply the sauce maybe the 140, you know, 145, and then I'll probably crank it up just to try to caramelize that sauce, add a little bit more heat. But there you go, guys. Look at that. This is a great way, like I said, if you did these ahead of time, you could just fill up your smoker with, you know, 3-4 racks, just heat them up like this over a couple hours, stress-free, have a beer, socialize, you know, do what you want to do with your buddies when they come to visit, and then, yeah, ribs are done. You don't have to stress it, go through that normal 4 or 5 hour cooking routine, and they're going to be perfectly cooked. Anyway, guys, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're at 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's at 173 degrees. And let's see here. Okay, I can already see some little bit of bark forming. All right, it's starting to get warm to the touch, but let's take a look. Now, normally I would spritz this, but since it was so wet, I just want it to kind of dry out a little bit to kind of heat it up, you know? Because it's no good if it's not heated up. And once we put the sauce on, see, we're not still quite there. Look at that, 94. See over here. Whoop, hit a bone. 98. Remember, we cooked these at 155. So, 102. We still have a little bit more time. You know what? Depending on, you know, what your plans are and how soon you want to eat. If you're looking to speed up the process, you can definitely crank this up to 225. If you're just looking to kind of, well, we're not quite ready to eat yet, it's okay if it's another hour. Leave it on smoke, which I think is what I'm going to do right now, because everyone's kind of content. We're watching a little TV inside, and yeah, you know what? Perfect. I'll come out, say, in another half hour, see what's going on. All right, we're around 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's at 164, the smoker temperature, and you can see the smoke rolling, which I really like. All right. All right, see, these are starting to take on some color. Yes. All right. Let's take a quick look here. It was dripping quite a lot. That's why I like this smoke setting, because it gives me an opportunity to get some smoke on here. All right, we're still not there. Maybe I could squeeze another hour out of these. Maybe. Anyway, what I was saying, it was dripping a lot of juice because it was so wet, had that gelatin kind of on it. dripped down, filled up my little drain bucket underneath, but it is showing that it's dry here, and I see a little bit of moisture coming up, but I'm going to resist my urge to spray it because, like I said, it was so wet and so cold, and obviously I want it to heat up to serving temperature. So, you know what? Let's let it go. We'll continue on. We'll come out in a little bit. We'll see how it's looking. It's at 163 degrees. Let's take a look. I think we're about ready to apply some sauce. Let's just take another look. Oops. 120. I'm gonna crank it up too. It's getting we're like approaching the 3-hour mark, which is way longer than I expect anybody watching to cook these. You know, heat them up via the smoker. But yeah, I'm gonna crank the smoker up. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna apply some sauce, and we'll crank this up to 225. Be back in a second. All right, guys, like I mentioned, we're gonna use the G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce, hickory flavor. I tried a lot of their products when I was on keto, and I have to tell you, they are good, high quality for sure. All right, so let me. We're just gonna pour a little bit of sauce on here, not too drastic. Oh, it's kind of thick. Give this a shake. I think we're in business. Let's give this a pour. Come on. I feel like I'm in a Heinz tomato ketchup commercial. Okay, here we go. Let's get a little on here like this. All right, and we don't have to go crazy. We're just going to apply some sauce. It's going to add a little liquid. Oh yeah. Come on. There we go. This stuff's pretty thick, but it tastes good, whether you're on keto or not. But hey, nothing wrong with cutting some carbs out of your diet. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to crank this grill up to 225. We want that sauce to caramelize. Yeah, there we go, 225. We'll be back. All right, we're at 221. Let's check these out. All right, looking good. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. Okay, you know what? We just want these hot enough for a serving temperature, really, which this is more than enough to be hot enough to serve. We certainly haven't gone past our cooking temperature, 155. But you know, we're still 130. I'm going to put a little bit more sauce on it. Give it a few more minutes. You know, it's not going to hurt to heat it up a little bit more. A little bit more sauce. Now look at these ribs, guys. You know they're already perfectly cooked. That's the beauty of this this cooking technique, combining the sous vide and the smoking. These are done. You can take it off now. As long as it's warm enough to your liking, yeah, you're in business. But, you know what? Let's give it just a little bit more time. Help to caramelize the sauce. We'll be back shortly. It's been covered for around 10-15 minutes. Wow, look at this, guys. And look, can any of you guys tell by looking at this that it hasn't been cooked from start to finish on a smoker? Obviously, I kind of took advantage by cooking it for an extra hour on the low smoke setting and just cranking it up at the end. But hey, you also have that luxury if you want to. But anyway, let me slice into these ribs. We'll take a look. Be back in a second. Oh my goodness, look guys. Wow. Alright. We're going to slice into these. You know what I'm going to do here? It's much easier usually to slice when you can see the ribs. So we'll turn those right like that. Get this right here. Let's see. Let's just try to go right down one of these center pieces here. Oh, the smell of the smoke. All right. I'll just take a piece here. Look at that, guys. Can you see the moisture? Can you see the smoke ring? All right, let me continue to cut these. There's a little piece right here that cut off because it's so tender. Another piece right here. I'm gonna give this a sample right now because I can't wait. Wow, guys. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let me slice into these guys. We'll be back in a second with the family. Give us a sample. All right, here we are. Look at that. Guys, you can see a little bit of that pink smoke ring. You can see the juiciness of the meat because it hasn't been cooked like the 210 degrees. It's got a lot of moisture left in it, and boy, smoky flavor as well. The ultimate ribs, combining sous vide and smoking. Be back in a second, give this a sample. Welcome back. I'm here with my family, my daughter Ava Grace, my wife Monica.
Hey guys.
We took a little piece off the bone for Ava Grace. It's very tender. Look at how, it looks like it's sitting here longer. The pink is getting more pronounced. Can you tell?
I can see the smoke ring. It looks,
there's definitely really a smoke ring. And it's very juicy too. Again, because I sous vide cooked it to 155 degrees and never exceeded that in the smoker. Anyway, pick up a rib. Let's everyone try this.
By the way.
Cheers.
It looked really good.
No, it is really good.
On the smoker, it smelled good.
Look at that, just falls off the bone.
Wow.
What do you think, Ava Grace?
Okay, this is delicious.
And look how just... It's not fall off the bone.
No, it is.
It's it's tender. It's not fall off the bone because you hold up the rib. The meat isn't falling off the bone.
Oh, okay.
You have to give it a little tug.
True. It's perfect.
But once you do that, the tenderness just like breaks it apart. And can you taste the smoky flavor? That's the next question.
I can. And I want to say something else.
Yeah?
We're picky about barbecue sauces.
Yeah.
We don't like too sweet. And it's hard to find here in Wisconsin. Everyone likes sweet. The G Hughes we use when we were on keto, we would use G Hughes for their other sauces. And the kids love their cluckin' sauce for the chicken. But yes, this barbecue sauce, I thought, oh, let's give it a try. We like all their other sauces. G Hughes barbecue is hickory. We got the hickory.
It is good.
It is good. I mean, you can't tell it's not like anything else that's sugary, but it's better.
Right.
Yeah.
But back to the ribs.
Okay, sorry. And the ribs are good.
Now,
I mean, the whole thing.
Monica, can you tell that these, I mean, if I didn't tell you, would you assume these were cooked from start to finish on the smoker, or can you tell I sous vide cooked them, or?
Oh, I can totally tell they're sous vide cooked.
Oh, really? How so?
Because they're more tender.
Okay, well.
Because if you cooked it on a smoker,
but are they
it
not?
Would be flavorful. It would be flavorful. You would absorb the smoke.
Yeah, but are they lacking a smoke flavor? That's the other
question.
No.
See,
that's the thing.
No.
It's like a perfect combination.
No, this is good. I like the smoke. It's not too much smoke. It's just a little bit of smoke.
Well, I think it's quite a bit of smoke.
Okay,
actually.
but I'm saying I like a lot of smoke, so.
Actually, look at this, guys. I don't know if you can see. See the pinkness, see the juice in that? And that barbecue sauce, oh yeah.
But my point is, it's the right amount of smoke for what you've cooked. When you sous vide it and do this,
Well,
the sauce is good too. It's not too smoky. My thought is it's perfect.
I don't think you can get ribs this tender.
It's hard to break it up.
Well, here's the thing.
Perfect.
I don't think you can get ribs this tender cooking it the traditional way in the smoker. I mean, they get falling off the bone, but then they kind of get dried out. They're kind of... This still has so much moisture in it,
Yeah.
but it's kind of pull off too, so...
Listen, I don't know how to break it down. That's my hard part. Like with the smoke and the cook, but it's perfect.
No.
This is delicious. And sometimes I'm picky, right, Dad?
Yeah, I would put up these ribs, you know, with the sous vide smoke combo up against any competition smoking ribs. I know that might cause some controversy, but you know what? I don't think a lot of people would know unless you told them. And if you gave them to them, they'd be like, oh my God, why are these ribs so juicy? Why, my goodness. And it's certainly not lacking the smoke flavor. So, yeah, combining those two methods, guys, I really think produces a superior product, or unlike any way you could cook ribs any other way.
Do you remember when you first told me about sous vide and I was like, ugh, I don't know about that. And I was like,
Yeah, sounds weird. Yeah, you put stuff in a plastic bag and put it in water.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. But over time, I mean, like he goes to work and I make chicken, I make other things, and I mean, sous vide has become our like go-to.
Yeah, no,
We actually have one now have like 5 sous vide cookers because different ones. Some have been given to review, and some we bought. We bought the extras. Oh my gosh!
And look, guys, if you have a smoker already and you want to try something different, get a sous vide machine. They're getting relatively inexpensive. I would recommend the Nova. Go check out their site. They always have sales.
And it's
Get
healthy.
some kind of container. Make sure you put a protective on your countertop so you don't crack it if the temperature gets too hot. But yeah, man, experiment with steaks. You can do it whatever. Fish. I mean, in this case, pork. Doesn't matter. It comes out delicious.
And it's healthier to do it that way because you're cooking it in its own juices, right?
So, yeah. So how do you like it? It's just been sitting here going, Alright guys, I appreciate you stopping by. If you liked the video, hit the like button. This logo on my shirt is the logo on the bottom of the screen. If you click on that, it allows you to subscribe to my channel. Please do that. It really helps my channel grow. And I'll leave a link above and below to my website, ericsmokingbbq.com. Go check that out. I have all my video recipes, photos, the whole bit. And thanks again for stopping by, guys. I really appreciate it. Definitely give this a try, especially if you have a sous vide and a smoker.
For sure.
I mean, look at the juiciness of this. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't think that you'll ever be able to smoke ribs with this flavor and this juiciness traditionally. I mean, so that's where mixing it comes out perfect.
Let me give Ava more.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Okay. No, it's good.
All right. See you next time, guys.